Bonjour! Good evening. Hello, podium chasers. Yes, it is I, Martin Cooper here. COMMS by Coops. And guys, I've been very... Well, we don't want to listen to that in the background, do we? I've been really excited about getting back involved here. It's been a couple of... Well, I missed the last couple of Sundays. Apologies for that, but obviously it was my wife's birthday, so... I was told I wasn't allowed to do anything else. We'll just do a quick sound check as always. Yeah, that is all good. We can turn that off. So, here we are. Round 5 of the ACC FRL Taco Tuesdays Championship. And the previous 4 rounds have all been really, really good. And I know this evening the guys are chomping at the bit and probably a little bit worried, potentially, about the weather. But yeah, if you're new to joining us here on FRL, or if you're a regular watcher, welcome. Hopefully we'll have a good chat, as we always do in the live chat. And yeah, obviously you can expect to get all of the driver and team stats from me shortly. Of course we will do a lap guide, although my German is not that great. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Yeah, and we'll see what's what. So, race format for this evening, as always, will be a 15-minute qualifying session. We are currently sat in free practice, 12 minutes left to go in there. And yeah, so once qualifying is out the way, we'll have a full 60-minute race with one mandatory stop for tyres. Fuel is optional, so it gives the guys opportunities, as we say, to play about with that strategy. And yeah, see if they can get creative. Again, so Rod Hammerbush is in the house. Hello Rob, how you doing? Hope you're well. Any questions you've got, Rob? Anything you want to know, just fire it over to me and we'll get involved. I'm sure it won't be long before Superkart Ray's fan club join us again this evening. And well, last week it was DJC Racing versus Superkart Ray. We'll see if that continues tonight. So we normally have 29 on the grid. I am number 30. As we all know, there's still bugs on the PS5, so with doing commentary, it sticks me in a car in the pits if I press drive, which will mean that, again, for you, everyone that is regular watchers, I will be sat in car. If you are new this evening, yeah, it's not because I prefer to sit in the car. I can't access the other camera angles quite simply until they fix that bug in the game. But there you go. So, Fresh Brizzle, hey Coops, hello mate. Are you playing with your setup or are you going safe tonight? That's what I want to know. Superkart Race says the link has been sent. Oh, let's wait for the deluge. The numbers are going up already. There's 5,000 already. It's amazing. Smalley. Okay, good. Rob's looking after Smalley. Yeah. And Superkart Ray is good. Now, last week you will remember, as who we were with, Michael. Let's come off Michael. Let's go to Superkart Ray, since his fan club's going to be here in a minute. We will obviously run through all of the stand-ins, which we'll get that bit. I say get it out of the way. I don't mean that in a derogatory term, but obviously you guys watching want to see some action and don't just want to listen to me drivel on about statistics. But they are quite important. This is round 5 of 8, so we are past the halfway point, and as Traction pops in a decent time there, and Superkart Ray's going out. Let's stay on board with him, shall we? Let's just see Superkart Ray going round on a bit of free practice while I get you guys and girls up to speed. So currently leading the championship is number 28, Michael Races. He has 145 points. Freeman 82 is in second place on 140 points. He finished 4th last week, and then Crazies is currently 3rd in the standings in his Beamer on 134 points. Crazies won last week, had a really... I mean, he showed a clean pair of heels to everybody last week. It was quite impressive. Mighty Road Racing is currently 4th in the Mercedes on 99 points, and then GTJ 1982 in his Beamer is 5th on 93. Reedy is 6th on 85 points, and then Bruges is currently 7th in his Bentley on 83 points. I'm sure he's going to want to, you know, push the boat out. Come on. Brilliant. Ponyfeeder is currently 8th in his Ferrari, 81 points. Ponyfeeder is not with us this evening. Hutch is 9th in the Bentley on 81, and Traction is also on 81 points. We've got 3 individuals all on 81 points there. 11th place is Rob 2K in his Beamer on 80 points, and then we've got Fearless 76 Ash, Lord Ash Wilson, we call him Ash. He's currently 13th on 69 points on his Beamer. Then we've got your Volton, I don't think he's with us tonight, I think he's working away. He's 14th on 68 points. Elysium 101 is on 64 points. And then we've got Supercart Ray, who we're on with now. He's 16th on 60 points. 11 Ferrari in his Ferrari is on 58 points. And then Kagatacos in the Porsche is on 56 points, currently in 18th place. Smalley's in 19th on 54, tied with the SJ Disco. And I know SJ Disco earlier on Discord was probably alluding to the weather. Thinks it's thinks that it's going to be perfect for him and his teammate tonight. But by the picture he put on Discord, I don't think he does have that much confidence. Kino DJ's 21st currently on 50 points in the Ferrari. He had a DNF last week, had an awful time. Got into quite a big incident and couldn't even get back round to the pit. So I'm hoping this evening that he has a more fruitful one. Lamaro 83 is 22nd on 50 points. Remember last week I was saying that Lamaro and Elysium were due a good result, and they both drove extremely well last week. We have 9th and 10th for them as a team, so that was excellent in terms of points haul. Faco 77 is 23rd on 43 points. Then King of the Hills, he's 24th, also on 43 points. I know he's breaking in some nice new pedals this evening with his new setup, so it's probably going to take a little while to get used to that, but everyone needs to make hay while the sun shines. Dragon on Speed is 25th on 35 points. That's Kagatako's teammate. And then Cascanova is in 26th on 27 points. Iceman Sean UK is on 23 points in 27th. And then we've got Beamer Power on 13. And Andy Cray is on 0, as is Yo Mr. White Smurf. So that gives you our driver standings, which connotations for the teams. I mean, it was pretty close last week. I'm sure it's going to be even closer when we get to the end of tonight as well. And I think the great thing is the point system that we put into place this season is really it's really doing its job. It's keeping everything close, and I mean the chaps certainly enjoy it, which is why we do it. So currently first in the team standards is Run DJC, and that's Freeman and Martin Road Racing on 239 points. Closely followed by One Fast One Furious, which is Michael Races and Traction Dave in the Ferrari on 226 points. Pussycat Patrol, thank you, don't ban me YouTube, is Crazies and Ash in the Beamer on 203. Team PSR is Fearless and GTJ 1982, they're fourth on 169 points. And then we've got Blue Flag Motorsport, which is Reedy and Mike Small on 139 in the Merc. Sixth place is KG Racing, which is Kino and Ponyfeeder in the Ferrari. They're currently on 131 points, and then Not Fast Just Furious are just behind them in 7th on 124, which is King of the Hills and Hutch. Ray Marketable Racing, which is 1-1 Ferrari and Supercart Ray, they are currently in 8th on 118 points. 9th is Alan E Racing, which is Lamaro and Elysium. They're on 114 points, and then in 10th place we've got Lowlands Lions, which is Bruges and Cascanova in the Bentley on 110. So you see, I mean, the points gaps are not big. We've then got BMW M Power, which is Rob 2K and Beamer Power on 93 points, surprisingly in a Beamer. And then we've got your Volton and Iceman Sean UK on 91 points. ST Motorsport is the Porsche of Dragon on Speed and Kagatacos. They're 14th on 91 points also. And then Slow and Fast Out, which is Andy and Yo Mr. White Smurf, they are propping it up at the moment with 0 points. So that gives you all of the current standings, so we can come away from that for a moment and we can see what the fans are currently saying. Can I not use chase cam? GT Jamie's asking. No, I could use chase cam, but I don't like it. I think it looks a bit Gran Turismo-y. And I don't like that, really, if I'm honest. Lurchies says hello Lurchies, and Scazzetti, what's up Coops? I am all good, my friend. Supercart Ray does what he always does when I watch him and throws it off the track. Let's go board with GTJ in his Beamer. So, Trader Tarek, what are you trading, Tarek? Welcome. So, but yeah, if you guys are new, let us know, who you're watching, who you're rooting for. And yeah, don't be afraid to say hello. We've got 5 likes in there at the moment, 10 are watching, so 5 of you individuals, please, if you haven't pressed like, take half a second to do it. It helps the channel, it helps get FRL and all these great drivers out there to more people, which is what we of course all want. Okay, so is the lobby full, says Merv. I'm not 100% sure. I think there might be 1 or 2 spots, but no, it is full, I believe. So this evening we don't have your Volton, Beamer Power, Pony Feeder and Yo Mr. White Smurf. They can't be with us this evening, so just 1 second. Right, there we go. So yeah, so unfortunately those individuals can't be with us this evening, but we have run through who is in. In terms of reserves that are sitting in for tonight, GT Jamie 141 is in this evening, and let me just double check. Who else is in there? I think Tarek might be in as well, so that answers that particular question. So that just threw me for a second then. Okay, so we are in free practice, 2 minutes left of free practice, and then obviously we will move into qualifying. So in terms of lap times at the moment, what is normally good around the Nurbs? Well, if Timmy Blunder was here, he'd be telling me, oh, I could do a 153.9 easy, but he's not here, so we can't do that. I believe Michael was setting some pretty fast times on Sunday in the GT3 League on Sundays. I think his time was it was in the 54s certainly. So if he could replicate that this evening, that's got to take some beating. But currently we've got a 55.8 as quickest in free practice, of which we have 1 minute 30 left. Okay, so I think when we move into qualifying, as we always do, I'll then jump on board with one of the, I say quicker, everybody's quick in this tier, but you know, one of the top sort of 4 or 5 will jump on board and we'll do a full lap guide for you all as well, which I think is quite important. But yeah, track temp at the moment, we've got 18 degrees ambient, nice and cool, so we get some good power pushing through those engines, and we've got 23 on track, so a little bit cool on track for tyres, but that should allow for quick lap times. It is a fast track at the moment, and we will see how that develops during the race. So what car's going to do well here this evening? Well, that's a very good question. Just sorting out some sound issues there. Yeah, I mean, what's got to... Oh, Claire's in. Leading goops, fingers and... Yeah. Claire has everything. Fingers, toes, legs, arms, cats. Everything she can get hold of is crossed. She's obviously hoping that Keno has a good race this evening. And I'm sure he hopes so as well, because 2 DNFs in a row can be quite demoralising. And I think last week he did kind of go into a bit of a Hulk mode afterwards. Potentially. He wasn't happy. But hey, that's racing, he's well aware of that, and I'm sure this week he'll come back stronger, so we'll see how that works. Currently 7th, nearly a second off the pace from traction in his Ferrari. Yes, 54s are in same move. Let's get on board. Well, Crazies we saw there was just kissing the wall, I believe, before we came back into the pit, so let's go on board with Freeman just while this finishes up. And again, as always, I'm going to plug it now. I always plug it once or twice throughout the evening. You know, obviously, you guys spend a lot of time here with me watching. Hopefully, you enjoy what you see. Otherwise, why are you wasting your time being here? If anybody would like to buy me a coffee, please do. It's a couple of pounds, one-off donation. Helps towards the channel. Can allow me to help with the servers within FRL as well. And if you want the address for that, it's on the stream, but it's buymeacoffee.com/comms by Coops. And if you don't know how to spell comms by Coops, it's behind me twice. So there we go. Right, so we're going to move into qualifying. Who's jumping out first? Right, so well, we've got quite a few who are getting out there quickly. Michael's out. Okay, let's use Michael as our guinea pig, shall we? Seeing as Michael's usually pretty fast. He might not be this evening, he might take it easy, but I doubt that very much. So, 15 minutes qualifying. The weather's not, it's not saying that it's going to rain. Obviously that could change. It's pretty cloudy out there, but it's saying for the next 15 minutes it's going to be dry. So that should allow these guys to get a few decent laps in. Pony Feeder prefers tea. Good, Pony Feeder. Well, I'm glad you're here supporting Kino, and you know, I hope you don't get called out. That's what I'm saying. But no, coffee is better. I can't do buy me a tea /comms by Coops because no one does that yet. I mean, I could invent that. I suppose all the English people would love it, I suppose, wouldn't they? But yeah, let's see. Right, so Michael's coming down to Dunlop at the moment before he comes up to his own S's. Not actually his. In fact, actually, funny story. Michael's first ever race within FRL was at Alton Park, and I know that because me and Timmy were doing comms on that particular Sunday evening, and he turns up. Traction wasn't with him at this point, so he turns up to this race, and the name was Ralph Races, I think it was, and I coined it. You can go back and look on the channel. Yeah, you'll have to go back quite a while, and I was obviously, you know, having a little slight that no, it was Shumi Races, that was his name, wasn't it? I think it was Shumi Races. So I started calling him Ralph because obviously I didn't want to call him Michael, because why would I want to call someone like Michael Schumacher on the comms, especially as I didn't know the guy. And then obviously got chatting with him, and he's like, oh, my dad's name's Ralph, and so there you go. A little bit of a backstory there with regards to Michael Races. So it's now not Shumi Races, it's now Michael Races, which is probably just the same, really. Lely's in. Hello, Lely. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while, mate. You're not out and about racing this evening? You had a good one on Sunday, though. That was, again, very enjoyable to watch. I will be about this Sunday. Don't worry about that. That's all good. Right, okay, so first actual flying lap. Again, please be aware, I'm in car view because of the bug within PS5, so I can't change those camera angles, and I don't want to do chase cam because that looks too arcadey. We want to be in the cars. We can still figure out what's going on within the cars. So we're halfway through this one. I'm not going to do a lap guide on this. We'll wait until he comes around and puts another one in. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, so on the PS5, I know when we did the split, there was obviously there was a lot of trepidation really when that happened, because no one was sure what was going to happen within the group, how the split was going to affect everyone, what the bugs were going to be. But I have to say, I think in the last couple of weeks, I mean, the attendance for this Tacos has always been, oh, as Michael loses it there, okay, through his S's. That was unfortunate. He'll be cursing now on his stream. He'll probably be saying, look, there's my Ferrari, look, there she is, look. I've got to say it every week, haven't I? Of course I have. Of course I have. But yeah, the attendance for Tacos is always really good. But Thursdays is also now picking up as well, which is good. We're getting new people joining all the time, which we love inviting new people in. We're trying to make some improvements in terms from the admin area, in terms of the stewarding side. We've done an update on the rules. If you haven't seen that, you can obviously go to the website, which is www.formularacingleague.co.uk, and obviously you can look at loads of other stuff whilst you're on there, in terms of the stats we did earlier on, or anything you want to do merch wise, or if you want to donate to there's millions of things you can do on there. So if you get 5 minutes, go and have a look. What's the worst that can happen with that one? So we're on board with Traction at the moment. Let's hope he doesn't have the same fate that his teammate Michael did. That's very kind of you, Lely. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it did seem pretty awesome. I did watch it back, actually. But yes, I'll be there Sunday. Don't worry about that. Can't have you boys hang in, can we? No. Right, so Traction we're on board with at the moment. So he's currently set the quickest, which is a 56 flat. That time's definitely going to come down. The track temp's come down by 1 degree currently, which that should favour these guys. Freeman's currently only a 10th behind, and then we've got Faco is a second back. So everyone's just, you know, making sure they're probably going to take a couple of laps to get those tyres and brakes warmed. As you can see, or you can hear I should say, Dave's obviously just dragging the brake there just to generate some more heat into those tyres, which is always a very good tactic as we go through the chicane up towards Coca-Cola curve. Right then, lap in anger, don't bin it. Okay, as we come onto the main straight, I think everyone's a bit nervous about T1 this evening. You've got to remember there's nearly 30 guys going to be all flying down here, all looking for the same piece of tarmac, so I'm hopeful that everyone behaves themselves. So at the 100 board, hard on the brakes, we're going to trail all the way into first gear. As soon as you hit the apex there, we're going to slowly squeeze on the throttle, drag the car across to the right, then we're going to back off, turn them in left, ideally we want to hook up that curve and then push right into third gear. Then we're going to trail brake down into first again and then balance the throttle. Just hear a couple of little dabs of throttle there, drop it into second, turn her in, and then straight on the power as we go out wide, not too wide there because you will invalidate your lap. We want to be over on the right hand side for this turn, and then just where that side road is, where the bollards used to be, you then proceed to get a lot of oversteer and save it. Well done, Dave. Mr. Gedburn's in. Hello, Chris. How are you, my friend? Oh, he's going to bug me tonight. Normally I stalk him. Normally I stalk Chris on all of his streams, and he's going to do the same to me tonight. So keep it clean, please. I'm sure you will. Hope work isn't too bad for you, mate. Anyway, as traction comes up to Michael's S's, I'll call it what it should be called, the Schumacher S's. Okay, fine. 100 metre board, hard on the brakes, down into second. We've got a trail in there. You always want to hook up that curve on the left hand side because it will drag the car round, and then we want to drop it into second. You pause, there's a little kink on the right hand side there on the curbing, and as soon as you see that kink, and it's like at Brands, it's a tiny little kink. As soon as you see it, that's when you plant the throttle, and then we've got the run up towards the chicane. So halfway between the 150, hard on the brakes, down to third, tuck her in, balance, then throttle out. You've got a room wide, you can go up the curve there and then onto the brakes. Going to trail into second, and he's gone into first, okay, and pull her out wide onto the start finish line. So essentially that's 2 half laps put together, which will give you a fast lap. And what's he done? Okay, he's done a 55.8. So Michael's currently top with a 55.4. Freeman, he puts that into second place currently. Well, let's have a look down there. So 7's coming through. So traction's down there, isn't he? Okay, so what can Crazies do? And Crazies is a beginning, I think, to find a very good rhythm with this Beamer. He wasn't massively overjoyed at the start of the season, and certainly he does bemoan the lack of straight line speed, but I drove it the other day. In terms of cornering and braking power, you can't really go too wrong with her, to be quite honest with you. So we've got probably 6 minutes 30 left of qualifying. Currently Michael's at the top, Freeman is second, Traction third, Crazies is in fourth. Those two have come into the pits probably just to make a little change before they go back out. GTJ is currently fifth in his Beamer, and then Keno is in sixth. And I think the actual bug Gedman's bugging me, everybody. Thanks. That's alright, mate, you carry on. So Rob 2Ks, that's decent from him. Rob's actually been pretty consistent over the last few weeks. Nothing in terms of results right at the top, but he's been consistently, I would say, at the top end of that mid-pack, that second split. And I know he had a bit of bad luck at Imola, but prior to that he was doing really well. GT Jamie's obviously standing in this evening. He's currently in 8th in his Ferrari, as is Tariq. Those two will do well, I'm sure of that. It's my car again. Lamaro's currently 10th, that's pretty good from him so far. 1-1 is 11th, and then Marty Road Racing is 12th. Faco's 13th. So in terms of time, so the top 5 are separated by half a second as it stands. We've got a pretty big gap then back to Keno, who is 6th. I'm not going to go on board with Keno for a little while. Don't want to jinx him. I don't want to jinx anybody, but I would have expected. Let's see what Crazies can do. I'd expect him to be higher up in qualifying trim. King of the Hills, Reedy, Bruges, Dragon on Speed and Kagatacos have not currently set a time. Whether that is planned, I remember the old days before you sort of used to get into the league racing and you would brave the public lobbies and this track and certainly Monza, you'd have to be extremely careful for T1 to the extent that you probably wouldn't qualify half the time, stay at the back and just pick up the places when they all, well, try and kill each other. So there you go. So Iceman Sean's 3.3 off in 23rd. Fearless Freak is 22nd. I expect him to move up the timings. Hutch is 21st, nearly 2.5 seconds, and then Ash is currently in 20th, 2.4 seconds off the pace. SJ Disco 19th, Cascanova and Smalley are then 17th and 18th, 2.1 off the pace, only a couple of thousandths between those two. And then we've got Elysium, who is just under 2 seconds. So let's have a look at Elysium in his Merc. As he goes through the Schumacher S's. Yeah, he did get it right. Hello Crazy, how are you? Glad you're with us. Chris, in terms of who are we missing? No, I don't think there is 29 in, mate. I think there's 28 in. Well, obviously there's 28 in because it says 28. So, someone else obviously hasn't been able to make it, unfortunately. So GTJ, as we look at that, he's really closed that gap down to Michael Races at the top there at the moment. It's only 75,000, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then Freeman is still 0.3 off the pace. Well, no, Freeman's just improved. He's now 0.264 off the pace. So those top 5 are still clearly ahead of the pack. And we've got 82. That's GTJ, and is currently yellow flag. No. Back to work tomorrow. Yeah. All us mere mortals have to do something along those lines, don't we? Unfortunately, I mean, we can't just sit here doing this all day. Although, actually, whilst we're on, doing something that you love, if you guys haven't seen yet, have a look at the channel. Yeah, because thanks to FRL, and that's what I will say, thanks to the community within FRL, and allowing me to sit here and gabble on 2 or 3 times a week about you guys racing and doing the commentary, I did actually get an invite to a real life race meeting to do live comms, which I did on Saturday. It was pro karting. It was a 4-hour endurance race around a 950 metre track. Yep. So it was a 40-second lap time, 4 hours. They completed 305 laps, 3 different classes, and it was an eye-opener, but I really enjoyed it. So I mean, they've said I could come back for the rest of the season. So, but yeah, that's thanks to you lot, really. No, Chris, I haven't set up a button that changes anything. It's good. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Everyone will get to see what they need to see. So Michael's improved. Michael's ducked into the 54s, a 54.888. That puts GTJ now a mammoth 0.6 behind, as we're still on board with Elysium. We'll see if he improves on that time. So Michael's beginning to show his pace now with a minute or so left, and as soon as I talk about Elysium, he throws it off the track. Sorry, buddy. Right, Crazies, can you push the boat out and catch Michael? That is a good time. I'm sure Traction is going to want to do something about that as well. You've all been really well behaved tonight. Actually, no one's saying anything they shouldn't in the chat, which is good. Don't change that. This isn't party chat, late night madness jobby. And 8 of you have liked out of 11 watching, so that is fantastic. I really thank you all. And the 3 that haven't, come on, guys, you know what to do. You know what to do, man. Right, come on, Crazies. See what you can do. 0.6. Michael's improved again, only by a few thousandths, but it's now a 54.825. It was a 54.888 before. And then his teammate and best buddy Traction Dave has just stuck that also. Has he got in there? 9. Oh, he's just... You're terrible, Traction. That's got to be a 55 flat. You're awful. He couldn't even get it in the 54s. Shocking. Oh no, Smalley. Oh mate. Wow, yeah, that would do you. Smalley's just said that will do me, as he's pretty poorly at the moment with COVID. So, mate, I hope it's just mild. Yeah, maybe you can sweat it out a little bit. I know that's stupid because you can't, but 7th place, that's impressive, mate. Let's see if you're mental fortitude will last for the full hour. I've no doubt being hustled and harried. So we're in the wait time at the moment. Crazies can't make an improvement on that, so that leaves Freeman is the only one who's going to be able to challenge Michael, so we might as well get on board with him as he throws it off. And it happens all the time. Happens all the time. So Smalley doesn't really feel very well. I get that, and his best mate Rod, is obviously really showing him some sympathy there by saying he feels really sorry for him. I'll take that as support, although I think there's a slight hint of sarcasm in there. So there's your grid for round 5 of season 4 Taco Tuesdays. We've still got 23, so Reedy's still going around, so let's have a little watch of Reedy. He'll probably throw it off now as well. If you do, I'm sorry mate, it's not my fault. So the grid stacks up like this. Pole position, not for the first time this season, is Michael Races with a 1:54.825. Alongside him is his teammates of Ferrari Lockout, which I'm sure they'll be hoping they can keep hold of that. He's just under 2/10 down, and then on the second row we've got GTJ in the Beamer, who is 6.5 tenths off that pace. Crazies is in 4th, 7.5 tenths off the pace, and then on the third row we've got Freeman 82, 8.5 tenths, and Andy Cray with 1.6 off. I mean, that gap is huge. And can I just say, if anyone hasn't or isn't with our Discord, have a look, because Andy put on there earlier on today his setup, and it looks absolutely epic. It's a great setup. Smalley's in 7th place again, considering he's driving with COVID. That's a brilliant effort. Keno's got that magic number 8. Let's see if that works, Keno. 1.7 off the pace. Then Reedy is currently 9th. Rob 2K rounds out the top 10. Dragon on speed, that's a good effort in the Porsche for him in 11th place. And Walk 1 Ferrari in his Ferrari is currently going to start in 12th. Tarek in his Ferrari is 13th, with Hutch in the Bentley. And then we've got Supercart Ray with his fan club. Michael says this is going to be fun. Pony says 2 sugars. Claire says she'll have a cup of... Okay, so they're all talking about making tea while I'm trying to work. Enjoy it. Supercut Race 15th. Bruges is in 16th in his Bentley. Lamaro managed to get up to 17th with Marty Road Racing alongside. So 2 Mercs going to have a little scrap there. GT Jamie's obviously standing in this evening. Good effort from you, Jamie, in 19th. And then we've got Faco 77 in the McLaren 20th. Cascanova 21st, Ash in the Beamer is 22nd, Lyceum in his Merc, obviously I ruined his lap by looking at him, is 23rd, and then Kagatacos in the Porsche is 24th. That leaves SJ Disco in the McLaren 25th, Fearless Freak 26th, Iceman Sean UK in the Bentley's 27th, King of the Hills with the new pedals is 28th. And I think Tooney 1986 was a chap who popped in earlier on just to see how fantastic the server was. So there's your grid. No huge surprises in terms of the names, but I think a big surprise is that gap. So the question now is, are these guys going to actually get through it safe? That's what we're going to find out. I hope you all get through there safe, and what I would say is do it safely. No, Tooney's not actually in, mate. He popped in earlier on, didn't he? And when it was free practice, Chris. So he's not actually in there. And Claire's sweet enough. Okay, so Claire's building her own fan club. You need to be able to drive to do that, Claire. That is the rule. Yeah, I don't think Keno's going to be too happy with that. But yeah, so we are set for a 60-minute race. Remember, there is one mandatory stop, which will be for tyres. Fuel is optional. What is the weather going to do, though? Because I do know from being in the server earlier on today, and some of you were in there will have seen me just stalking around, having a look. And, yeah, it was quite interesting because the weather wasn't dry. So that could make a big difference today. MSR Racing, hello, how are you? Nice to have you with us. Good that you popped out and said hello, that's always great. No, Chris, if I click on his name, it's going to put me on the grid, mate. So, he's not on the grid. There you go, 28. Even if you join in on the free practice server, even if you do one lap and then leave the server, the game will still keep your name in, but it won't put you on the grid. But yeah, so track temperature has increased to 24 now. Ambient is still 18. We've still only got a fast track, so they've now got 2 minutes. Oh, what just happened there? Right. I do love this. It's great. So I'm going to go on board with GTJ at the start. Let's see these two Ferraris having a little scrap at the front. See if everyone can... cool beans, says Chris. That's my phrase. If you haven't seen the podcast, watch. I said it about 4 million times a few weeks ago. Speaking of podcasts, that is on tomorrow evening at 10. So it'll be myself. I'm back on this week with Revolton, Mr. FRL, and Dal. Dal's going to be on, of course. Dal does all the technical stuff and gives us all the stats. No, sorry. If he's watching, he's going to crucify me, but no, Dal doesn't. As we said before, Dal is a stalwart within FRL. The amount of work he does on the PC side is quite extraordinary, really. So, 55 seconds. Guys are going to be now just tweaking those setups, making sure everything is ready. Tyres, fuel strats, any tweaks to that setup. But I want to know what the weather's going to do. So, any of you watching, let me know. Who's your money on? Obviously, Claire wants Keno to win. Pony Feeder wants Keno to win. Although Pony liked Michael's lap, so he might want Michael to win. Maybe he's looking for a new teammate next year. You don't know, do you? No one knows. Right, so we're going to have a full, obviously a full formation lap, which we will keep our eye on. It keeps flashing at me to say drive. I want to, but it won't do anybody any good whatsoever. So we're about to get this one underway. I hope we get a clean. It's not really turn 1, it's 1 through 4. You know, you've got this many cars, obviously it's just put me in. Oh, I'm in my car. See, there you go. Right, let's go back on board. So, and we are going to get underway on this formation lap. Dal is a machine, yes, and Pony stayed true love there. Keno, it's all good. So Jamie's in the pits. Why are you in the pits, Jamie? Did you not press drive, mate? Or are you just trying to avoid stuff? Who knows? As we see them all blasting by. Just listen to it. It just sounds brilliant, doesn't it? In fact, one of the things I noticed earlier on today, we'll see if it happens on GTJ's car. So if you look at the windscreen wiper, it probably won't happen now, or it just moved slightly. Focus on that, right? This is how brilliant they've got this simulator. And I know I'm biased because I love the simulator, but as you're driving and as obviously you're building up speed, so there's more air, you know, going over the top of the car, or the resistance to that air, whether you're changing direction or not, the windscreen wiper will move as you would expect it to in a real car. It's that attention to detail which makes this thing just mind-blowing sometimes. Brilliant. Jamie was having a nervous wee. Well, that's okay, because Michael Races might let you into what he does before a race, which is not a wee, and that's why he always goes slightly faster when he gets back in the chair. Well, that's brilliant. You should be nervous, mate. Where hold on, where is GT Jamie on the you're in 18th. Wow, you're going to have a brilliant first part of the lap, because you'll just be going by people if chaos ensues. So through the Michael S's, through the Schumacher S's, a little bit of weaving going on by Traction in front there. Now, is Traction going to play rear gunner to Michael, given that this top 5 is your top 5 in the championship, apart from Traction, because he had a shocking first couple of races by his current standards? Is he going to try and back everyone up to allow Michael to run off, or is he going to challenge him? That is the question. Hey Rob, good evening. What have you missed? Nothing. Just a brilliant qualifying session. I gave out £5 million to everyone that liked the show, which you haven't yet, because it's still on 11. I can't divvy that up anymore, unfortunately. And we've seen a stellar lap from Michael and traction, and there is a 6.5 tenth gap back from second place to third in qualifying, which is huge. No, Matthew, he has actually crashed. When I went on with him at the start, because I was waiting for you boys to join, he put in there he'd sent the link out, and I went on board with him and he put it in the wall. So, but good to have you with us as well. Right, here we go then, up to Coca-Cola Curve. I see, you know that I've done my research and I know the name of that one, because that's twice I've said it now, but we're about to get this one underway. They're all lined up 2 by 2. Again, I wish I could give you different camera angles. I'm sure that will happen by next season. Let's bear with it for now. And here we go, they wait. And they wait.
Green light, go, go, go.
Not anymore, and they're off. Okay, down the start finish straight towards turn 1. Traction pulls in behind Michael, so Traction looks like he's gone defensive there. GTJ looks like he was getting a bit of a nudge from Freeman. Certainly was getting a little love tap from Freeman, and then Crazy's, he's trying to go around the outside, another little love tap there, but manages to get through okay. So GTJ has lost a place there, and look at that, Crazy's has made a move on Traction. So Crazy's has managed to put that beamer up 2 spots, which is going to please him no end, and that's going to frustrate Traction. Let's hope we don't have any crazy driving. Let's go a bit further back down the field. So Freeman is still in 5th. Right, so Andy's watching this fight happen. We're going to go down towards Dunlop in a moment. Let's hope we don't see any crazy dives up the inside just yet. You've got to remember, we might have full tanks. Tyres are going to still be cold. Pressures, brakes, everyone's got to be just a little bit sensible. We see Michael going through Dunlop up in the distance, followed by Crazy's Traction. Okay, so the computer's doing its thing. Cascanova's got himself a drive-through, and someone's just threw it off there. We'll pick up who that is in just a moment as we come up towards the Schumacher S's for the first time in the race. A little bit tentative there, but no, that was okay. Right, so we now have some times that we can give everyone. So Michael's out up top, 1.4 ahead of Crazy's in second place, and Traction is nearly 4 tenths behind him. Freeman is 4th, GTJ is currently in 5th, and then Smalley, the COVID driver, he's another 3 tenths back. We're on board with Andy at the moment. I'm sure he's enjoying this in his nice new home cinema type area. I thought I was watching MTV, to be honest. And then Keno is currently in it. Keno's gone up to 7th. Again, as I've said, I'm not going to look at Keno for a while, but he's elevated himself up the field. Dragon on speed in the Porsche is doing pretty well there. He's got himself up to 8th, and then Rob2K is 9th. Smalley is now down into 10th as we complete lap 1. 1-1 Ferrari's 11th, Hutch 12th. Cascanova's got his drive-through, so that must have been an issue on the start for him. Superkart Ray is currently 14th, half a second down, and then Mighty Road Racing again. So everyone's around about half a second down, as you would expect, having 1 lap completed and everybody just trying to find their feet. Elysium 17th, Kagatako's 18th, Tarek Tornado's 19th, Ash is 20th, and then SJ Disco, I believe he's moved up a couple of places from his qualifying position in 21st. Iceman Sean UK's 22nd, Bruce 23rd, he's gone back. Fearless Freaks 24th, Reedy 25th, and then Lamaro, GT Jamie and King of the Hills. And remember, GT Jamie started from the pit lane. The King of the Hills is probably still having some slight issues with those new brakes of his. So up top, could have a look from Crazy's point of view as they go into Dunlop again. Remember, we've got 60 minutes, so you know, if you haven't had the greatest of starts, and, you know, Traction's a second and a bit behind, but it's no big deal at this stage. There's a long way to go. Tyre wear, as the fuel burns off, all these things are going to make a difference. But I mean, one thing I would say from driving the Ferrari, especially around here, well, through the Schumacher S's and the chicane at the top of the hill, you've got to make sure that she's settled, because if you don't, you are definitely asking for trouble. So we're going to have to go on board with Keno, because it looks like this is the closest battle. Keno is in 7th, chasing Dragon on speed. Looks like he's obviously got back ahead again then. So this is the fight for 7th and 8th. Yeah, the timing screens just haven't changed. Hard on the brakes, really putting some pressure onto Dragon there, you can see that as they come up to Coca-Cola Curve and onto the start finish straight. So Those two are having a nice little battle. Smalley, he wants that place back from Rob, so let's have a look at Smalley as they come down the start-finish straight. We'll let Keno get on with it and not hurt himself. Is there a move coming? There is a move coming there. He's going to try and last of the late breakers. Smalley getting that done. I think he is getting that done. And he's kept wide, so maybe Rob is still next to him. I think that is probably the case. So he's gone a bit wide there. He's going to lose some time coming out of there, and then you see Rob just start straight back through as we go into T3. Squirt the throttle off into second, and then just squeeze on as we go through that apex. Okay, nice from you boys. Well done, well done. Further down the field, Supercut Ray's up to 10th. He's on a mission. Let's have a look at him. He is on a mission. This will please Rob and Matthew. A little bit too deep in there. I bet he knows I'm talking about him again. Keep it on track, Ray. You can do it, mate. 26 drive-through clear. That'll be casking over then into Dunlop. So there's two ways that you can take Dunlop. Some people, you know, go really deep in there and just trail almost halfway in into the corner there as we go through Schumacher S's. Ooh, don't do that. And off we go. Right. I don't want to curse him. Right, Tarek's trying to chase him down, and then if we look at it further down the field, what have we got that's going on that's close? So King of the Hills, Cascaneva's obviously had his drive-through. So King of the Hills and Hutch, now I believe they're teammates. They're both at the back, so Bentley, she's not having a great time round here at the moment. Fearless and Andy, well, Andy's obviously dropped down the pecking order as well, which is probably not what he wanted. So we've got pretty much 1.2 within the top 5 there between each of them, although Michael's just pulled out more of a gap on Crazies. That's now 2.1 seconds. Dragon on speed, he's having a great race so far. He's up to 6th. Keno's going to be happy with 7th, and Rob's still trying to keep Smalley behind him. 3/10 there currently, so there are a lot of very good little battles. Let's get on board with Kaga. He's only 2/10 behind Faco. I like talking about Faco. And obviously in front you can see we've got a nice little gaggle of cars there. So we've got 1-1 Ferrari, Elysium and Marty Road Racing, all within touching distance. So again, this is what we find every single Tuesday. It's always very close racing. There's always lots of nice little packs and loads of battles that are going to take place. Boba Fett, okay, Supercut Ray's got another fan. Great. Yeah, nearly got the t-shirt. Yeah, well, he is in 10th, but he's got to finish 10th. That was the deal. He has to finish 10th. If he doesn't finish 10th, it doesn't count. But at the moment, we're all going to get a t-shirt. And mine's going to say, #1 fan. Because I watch him all the time. And make him crash. Rob, I think... Are you talking about the 5 million there, Rob? I know, I was thinking generous earlier on. Right, as we go into Schumacher S's, again, Kaga's just got to be a bit careful there. Oh, who's off there? That's 1-1, I think. And he's having a bit of a wobble there. Hopefully no one's going to die. It doesn't look like anyone's going to die, which is good. And you've got to love the Porsche. I think the Porsche is an amazing car. Obviously she's very finely balanced in terms of aero, but if you can get that sweet spot, she is a pleasure to drive. And I think she's looking pretty quick at the moment. Kaga won't drive anything else other than the Porsche, so he should know what he's doing with that. And that McLaren in front for Faco, ooh, easy, nearly. They nearly had a little love tap there as they went through Coca-Cola curve. I'm not sponsored by Coca-Cola. Oh, my drink. Cheers everyone with my FRL coffee delivery device. Normally when I take a swig of my coffee when I'm doing the commentary, it's stone cold, but into T1 that was some good braking there. I thought we were going to have a bit of contact, but we didn't, so that's all good. Done it again. Stone cold coffee. Beautiful. Mr. Gedman's obviously commentating how much he professes his love for that Porsche, and we do know Chris loves the Porsche. And so he should. She's a beautiful car. Crazy's is still second, nearly 3 seconds behind Michael now, so he seems to be finding that flow and consistency as we watch this battle develop on the run down towards Dunlop. Traction is still in third place, so okay, I know he started second, he's currently third, but it's podium material, it's big points material. Hard on the brakes, trail that in. Again, if we had different camera angles, I could show you the inputs in terms of the throttle and brakes, and we could talk about that and what that means, but we can't access that at the moment, unfortunately. Freeman's currently still in fourth now. He's under a second behind Traction at the moment, as Thaco got slightly out of line there. So Kaga, just stay patient. Yeah, don't overdrive, just stay patient, it will come. GTJ is currently still in fifth, only a second behind, and then dragging on speed in his Porsche. So the Porsche is obviously performing pretty well. He's still in sixth, Smalley seventh. What's happened there? Rob 2K's eighth and Kino's dropped down to ninth. So maybe there's been an issue there, or there's been a slight off track. Steady on Kaga as he tried. That was a rather aggressive move there, but that's going to cause him to get way out of the throttle, and you can see that's costing him quite a bit of time, so he's got to do all that hard work again now. So Kino's dropped down to 9th. Superkart Ray is currently still in 10th, which is great because that means we get a t-shirt. Mighty Road Racing 11th, Elysium 12th, Thaco, which we're watching in front of us at the moment, who's having that pretty decent battle. Who's that? That was a Bentley, wasn't it? So is that King of the Hills maybe? We'll find out. So that issue there of him having to jump out of the way has unfortunately caused Kaga to lose a spot, as that person's indicating to move out of the way. So someone's not happy with setup, or maybe the equipment, if that is King of the Hills. So Kaga lost a place there to Bruges whilst he was trying to figure out, trying to avoid hitting that Bentley. So 1-1 is 16th, 6 tenths points, so we can come back to him again. It's just fantastic racing. Any mistakes, they're going to be punished, as we've just seen. SJ Disco in his McLaren is 17th at the moment, 2.6 further down the field. Reedy in the Lexus is half a second behind, and then Iceman Sean UK, you know what, I think he's going to be quite happy with that. I know he's in 19th at the moment, and Sean's fairly new, he's only been with us a few weeks and fairly new to ACC as well, and he's progressing nicely. He is progressing nicely, so just keep at it, keep that consistency, and the rest will definitely come. Ash is 20th in the Beamer. Now, he was pretty pleased last week to actually get a full-time seat as Crazy's teammate, but I'm sure he won't be happy with 20th at the moment. GT Jamie is 21st, only 3 tenths back. We will check that one out in a moment. And then Lamaro's way down, so I'm assuming there's been an issue there. 6.5 seconds back from 21st. And then King of the Hills and Cascanova, who had that early drive-through, which I think probably happened off the start. Fearless Freak has pitted, he's 25th. Andy's pitted, he's 26th. Tarek's in the pits 2 laps down, and Hutch is still going. Tarek's either had damage or he's come out already. So GT Jamie 2 tenths behind Ash. This is a battle for 20th place. Mike, good evening, thank you for joining us. Hope you're all well, my friend. Again, everybody, press like if you haven't already. The Superkart Ray fan club is in, so there should be at least another 8 likes on there. You know it, and you know it makes sense. You know, help a Cooper out, make me happy. So GT Jamie is really pushing on there, and then Iceman Sean is just in front, so we've got a 3-way battle here, 19th, 20th and 21st, which we of course are going to keep our eye on, just whilst we look at the other times up top as they go through 3 and 4. Ooh, that's a little bit squirrely there, understeered wide, so I lost a bit of time on that one. The tyres won't thank him either. So Michael's now almost 4 seconds ahead up front, which is a sizable gap, and then Crazy's has got himself a 5-second gap back to Traction. So those 3 are in a class of their own, no doubt about that. Freeman's 1.1 behind Traction, so he's hanging on there and could still challenge for a podium as the race develops, as we go into Dunlop again. So important to get a good drive out of there, because obviously through the Schumacher S's you want to be carrying as much speed as possible. Crazy's has had an off. He's down to 5th place and he's coming into the pit, so issue there for him. So that promotes, obviously promotes Traction, promotes Freeman and GTJ as well. So Dragon on speed in 6th, he's got to be having the race of his life at the moment, I think. And Smalley battling COVID, bless him, is currently still in 7th. Kino, what is going on? So Kino's, I hope no one's tagged him. I really do, because he's had a lot of bad luck over the last few weeks, and he's currently now down in 16th place. I am trying to stay away, Kino, to make it more pleasurable. Supercart Ray doesn't want to give us that t-shirt, guys. He's decided to drop himself down to 11th. But we did see last week Elysium and Lamaro did come through the field very, very well. So they didn't have the greatest of qualifying last week either, but they came through the field for that 9th and 10th team finish, and it looks like something similar could be on today. So Crazy's is getting his pit stop out of the way. That gives Michael a 10-second gap back to traction, which is phenomenal considering they've done 7 laps. Chris, I can't, it's not a curse. If you remember, Euphoric State coined it, or called it perfectly, a couple of months ago actually, and said it's not that I curse everyone, it's just I don't miss anything. But I'm trying to miss things, that's the point. I'm trying to miss things like that. Rob is only... Right, so Smalley's got ahead, so Rob's now only 4 tenths behind Smalley. That could develop quite nicely. Hats off to Smalley, man. I definitely could not be involved in a race. We all know how much hard work it is. I mean, if you are sitting there having a bit of a giggle, then you're not doing it right. But these two are getting pretty close. I'm going to drop on with Bruges, because him and Kaga have picked up their little scrap again. There's only a couple of attempts between them as well. And then one is not far behind either. So Bruges has moved over. No, go. Okay. So I think what happened there, I think there must have been contact between Bruges and Kaga, and Bruges had then moved over. You can see that they're all flashing each other and all the rest of it, just acknowledging what each other was trying to do there. So, I mean, that was very, very good sportsmanlike if that had happened, and then Bruges has moved over to let Kaga back through, and then Kaga, being the gent he is, probably thinks that, well, there wasn't much in it, or maybe it was, you know, actually a racing incident. So no, you don't have to give that place up. That's the type of driving we've got, and they're both now last. I'm a machine. I am a machine. That is right, Chris. Don't know what type of machine I am. So Jamie's in the pits and Bruges is in the pits. I think Tarek's been in this one off. He's 4 laps down now. So we've had 4 people have completed pit stops at the front. No change in the top 3. However, GTJ, as we've seen previously, he's now starting to apply some pressure onto Freeman. He's sniffing a podium because, let's face it, he's got nearly 13 seconds behind him. So in terms of the top of the race, this is the big battle for points and for podiums between the Merc and the Beamer at the Nurburgring. You couldn't have written that, could you, really? And those Ferraris are out in front again. So Dragon 5th, Rob is 6th, well done to you. Smalley's only 4 tenths behind in 7th. Mighty Road Racing, he's elevated himself nicely up to 8th. Elysium's found himself in the top 10 again. Excellent consistency by him in 9th. Supercart Ray is currently on the phone to his t-shirt making guys in 10th. Faco is 11th, 1-1 Ferrari 12th. Kino has moved himself back up though. I think he was 16th, he's up to 13th. So at least he's on the road to recovery. Reedy's 14th, 3.5 seconds behind. Then we've got SJ Disco in 15th with Iceman Sean UK 16th. Ash is 18th, 9th, sorry, I'll slow down I think. Ash is 17th, Kaga is 18th. Lamaro is not far behind Kaga, but Lamaro, in the nicest possible way, you need to pull your finger out, dude, because your teammate is way up the road, and I know you're quicker than that. King of the Hills 20th, again he's breaking in some new equipment this evening, so I think it's more about being safe and getting some track time for him, which is sensible. Cascanova is 21st, running last in terms of people that have not pitted yet. Unfortunately, Cascanova had a drive-through at the very beginning of the race, and that was a very poor exit from Freeman. And look at the run that GTJ's got. He's going to throw it up the inside. He did to a degree. I think he was just trying to see if he could get Freeman just to go offline there or outbrake himself, but these two are having a really good little battle at the moment, so let's keep an eye on it as we've run through all the others. So in terms of people that have pitted, and again he's got a good run out of there, I can feel a move coming on. Oh, he's going to try and get him to brake late and then do a cut back, pick up that curb. He does pick up the curb nicely on the throttle, then back off and then hold, look for the curb on the right. There's your kink, go. So both got a very similar exit from there, so I'm not foreseeing that Beamer pulling in the Merc, especially down the straight, although he may get obviously a helping hand from some slipstream on the brakes. Down to third, turn her in. She seems, the Beamer, she seems so docile, just so planted, very beige is what she seems, but she's very good at her job. Ten still with us at the moment, thank you very much. I appreciate that, appreciate it. Into T1 then, so this is currently, it's not the closest battle we've got on track. There is a closer one, which I'm not going to go to, because you can see who I'm looking at. Mr. Kino, we're not going to go there. Let's tell you a little story about Kino actually, whilst we're watching this epic fight develop as they get rather close, almost having a little love tap there. I was having a little chat with Kino the other day about you know, this karting thing that I was going to, mentioned where it was, and he sent me this picture, which I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this information because I think it's bloody epic. Was a picture of him when he used to do karting, coming out of a pit lane, and the car in front was none other than Nigel Mansell. And you know, I said to him, I was like, why have you not got that printed and blown up somewhere? Because it looks like a really iconic picture, something you would see as a poster picture, you know, to promote something. But yeah, no, that was really cool to see that. So again, it just shows you that everybody lives and breathes this. It's not just, you know, it's in the blood, really. We do have some good close battles going on. I want to jump on board with Kino, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to jump on board with 1-1 Ferrari, who's stuck in the middle of Facco and Kino. So if Kino manages to get by, we'll just see it happen, rather than me causing something. Just in front of Facco is Superkart Ray. As you can see, he's just there. So we've got 4 cars here who are all pretty close. Oh, look at that, he's only 2 and a bit tenths behind, so I think we should probably see some defensive manoeuvres from 1-1. No love tapping boys, and Kagatakos is under 4 tenths behind Lamaro now, so Lamaro's under pressure from that Porsche. He's not going to want that. So in terms of the guys that have pitted so far, Crazy's leads the guys that have pitted. GT Jamie's pitted, Bruges has pitted, Fearless has pitted, Andy has pitted, and so has Hutch. We did say earlier on that I'm pretty sure that Tarek is sitting this one out as he's 7 laps in the pits. Either that or he's changing the tyres himself. So as we watch this one develop onto the main straight, GTJ is 8 tenths now, so he's lost a couple of tenths back to Freeman for that podium fight, but they've increased the gap back to Dragon On speed. It was 12.6, it's now almost 15 seconds. So as GTJ, we're pretty tight here. We've got a 4-way fight here between Superkart Ray, Facco, 1-1, and no doubt Kino. If only I could see different camera angles. Facco goes a little bit wide there. He's going to go deep into there. Manages to get it stopped and turned. Misses the apex though, so that allows 1-1 to get a better line through there, but then he runs pretty wide and gets a little bit of an oversteer incident, so that's going to slow him down slightly. I'm sure he's got Kino all over the back of him. You can see that 3.5 tenths. So these boys, they can't take their eye off anything for a second. I actually feel sorry for 1-1 at the moment. It's allowing Superkart Ray to get away. Matthew can't wait for his t-shirt. Yeah, I bet you can't. GTJ has pulled that back to 6 tenths now, so those two seem very evenly paced. But I was going to say, before all the action started going on in T1, GTJ is now only 2 tenths. Sorry boys, I've got to go and look at this as they go into Coca-Cola Curve and onto the start finish straight. I was going to say GTJ is in a brilliant position at the moment on track because he doesn't have to rush, he doesn't have to force the move. He's got 16.5 seconds behind him. I think he probably wants to get the move done because he might think he's got the pace to go and have a pop at Traction, who is obviously 5 odd seconds down the road. But GTJ doesn't have to put himself at risk. Yeah, he can just spend a few laps, which I think is what he is doing, just getting all over the back of Freeman, just trying to figure out where that Merc is strong, where it's potentially weak, or where Freeman potentially makes a mistake or goes defensive normally, so that GTJ can try and do something different, yeah, or try and catch him off guard. So I think that's the game plan for those two individuals at the moment. And Freeman, I think, is just looking in that mirror thinking, just leave me alone, go away. You don't need to do this, it's Tuesday. So, Dragon is still 5th, Robert still 6th, Smalley still 7th, 2 seconds down, Mighty Road Racing is 8th, Elysium running 9th, and Superkart Ray, that makes up your top 10, although that 10th place is not safe, boys and girls, because Faco's only half a second behind 11th, 1-1 is 12th, oh dear, Reedy's 13th, and Keno is in the pits. Okay, as long as Keno's number goes green, that is probably a good stop. He was in the middle of a four-way fight there. Everyone's going to be holding each other up, so hopefully there was no contact, as we see Freeman makes, I wouldn't say hash of that, but certainly had a moment coming out of that one as they head up towards the chicane. So I think this battle is going to run for quite a while. So Keno, I want you back out. I'm assuming this is your stop. Yes, there we go, that's gone green. So tactically, I think that might have been a good move, get himself into some more freer air so he can put in some more decent lap times, and Freeman decides he's going to blink and go into the pits. The undercut is normally quite strong on ACC, let's see if that helps, but from viewing this for the last couple of laps, I do think GTJ was quicker than Freeman at that stage of the race. Now whether that's going to be the case when he comes out with fresh tyres, I don't know, but I think GTJ did have better pace, so we'll see when he decides to put her in the pits. Mighty Road Racing all over the back of Smalley, as you can see, coming into Coca-Cola curve. I'm going to stop saying that. I think we all know I've learnt that one corner of this track. So 13 laps in currently. Michael has a very healthy lead up top, 11.5 seconds, and then there's a 5.7 second gap to GTJ. Freeman's in the pits, obviously he's just pitted from 3rd place, and those two are having a really strong battle, so we'll see how that works when GTJ completes his pit stop. Dragon on Speed's having best race I've seen him have, certainly in this Taco season, currently in 5th place in his Porsche. Rob 2K, again, I did say at the top, you know, Rob is normally at the top of that mid-pack, so sort of top 6, and then he's normally there between 6th and 8th. He's there in 6th again, being consistent. Smalley put him in exactly the same category, and that is the case. Mighty Road Racing is currently 8th. Elysium has got himself into the top 10, he's going to be happy with that. 9th, Superkart Ray is 10th, and at the moment, fingers crossed and touch wood, he's having a consistently clean and good race. 1-1 is 11th. No, Faco is 11th. He's just made a move on 1-1 there. Reedy's 12th. Freeman's come out of the pits in 13th. SJ Disco 14th. He's 40 seconds down the road, so there's no issues there. Iceman Sean UK is currently running 15th, with Lamaro 16th. Then we've got Kagatacos, who's just completing his pit stop, currently in 17th. That may change. Ash is 18th, not stopped yet. King of the Hills is in the pits at the moment, 19th. And then we've got Crazies, who has pitted, is 20th. Cascanova, who's that? Kaga's got himself a trot. Kaga's got himself a stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. Unlucky, mate, you must have just twigged that second gear, which is a pain, no doubt. As Mighty Road Racing is coming into the pits, Dragon on Speed is also in the pits. So Rob 2K elevated to 4th, and that's going to push Smalley up to 5th. So things are starting to play out now, and King of the Hills has also got himself a stop go for speeding in the pit lane. I know we all want to get out quick, boys, but you know, glue your attention to the screen, everyone. Just there, look at that Ferrari. There she is, the 101. Oh, beautiful. Don't hit my car. Bruges 23rd has pitted. GT Jamie's 24th has pitted, as has Fearless Freak 25th, Hutch 26th, and Andy 27th. All have currently pitted. So I want to see GTJ come into the pits and see how he comes out compared to Freeman. So the interesting thing, obviously Freeman has pitted as of Crazies. Crazy had to pit early, if you remember, but Freeman is ahead after doing that pit stop. So look at Elysium. He's chasing Smalley down. It's only 8 tenths now, so Elysium's sniffing some good points at the moment today. 11 of you with us. If you haven't liked, please do. We're in the middle of a pretty good race at the moment. Michael decides to pit from first place. He's got himself a nearly 13-second gap back to his teammate Traction Dave. That has been the story so far. Michael and Traction were both in the... Well, Michael was in the 54s. Traction, I believe, did a 55 flat, which I will check afterwards. So he'll be gutted with that. Traction's pitted, as has GTJ. So our top 3 have all pitted, which is brilliant. I'm going to go on board with Rob just for a second. Let's see if he pits, because Rob pits as well. So everybody is going in the pits. Who wants the lead of the race? Elysium. No, Smalley wants the lead of the race. He's saying, I don't care if I've got COVID, I'm going to lead this race. And there you go, he does it in the Lexus, and Elysium follows him through. So the interesting bit with this, Michael and Dave, they're going to be totally fine. GTJ, if you remember, Freeman pitted, and Freeman was only 6 tenths ahead of GTJ. So that's who we need to keep our eye on, is these two individuals, see where they are on track. So he's coming up towards the chicane, and GTJ is still sat in the pits. We are halfway through the race, as the spotter has just informed us. So we've got 30 minutes to go. GTJ is now making his way out of the pits. Now remember, it was 6 tenths. Okay, let's stay on board with Freeman. Let's see if we can spot on the right hand side GTJ. Yeah, he's out. Then look, he's got ahead of him, so it looks like he's extended that lead. So Freeman goes into turn 1. His tyres, everything's going to be nicely up to temperature, and Freeman, he's just going through T1. You could just see, sorry, GTJ is just going through there. Ooh, interesting, boys, interesting. Okay, we'll see how that pans out. Smalley's still top, with Elysium running second place. Obviously that's not going to stay the same because they need to pit. Superkart race third, he's on the podium. I think he should buy us all something better than a t-shirt. He's sitting in a take a picture. Someone take a picture. Right, 13 watching, welcome everybody. Please let us know who you are, who you're supporting. Get involved with the chat. Nobody bites, everyone's really friendly over here. It'd be good to know who you are. So Smalley, Elysium, Superkart Ray, Faco and 11 Ferrari, they're just really enjoying themselves. I was talking to you about the wiper earlier on in the race. Watch this wiper. Just watch the wiper as we get up to speed. Look, that's it, swinging across with the... It's brilliant. I love it. Swing back. I love it. Oh, we've got a spinner there. Oh, no, was that Freeman? It was. So Freeman... Oh dear. So Freeman was obviously pushing a little bit too hard there, so he's had a spin, which, you know, that works beautifully for GTJ because he's just completed his pit stop. He's got nice fresh tyres now, and he's clear of Freeman. So that could, in effect, touch wood, if nothing untoward happens, that could settle your podium right there as Faco comes in to do his pit stop. Elysium, come on Elysium, he wants that. He wants to be able to take a picture of that. I know he does, so it shows he's in first place. I'm sure Smalley's already taken a few. Chris is supporting the Iceman. Kushwa, teammate. I've got to say, Chris, I do love your team name. I think it's brilliant. Very, very good. So Michael, okay, he's going to get his pit stop out of the way. So look at that. So because of that issue there for Freeman, GTJ has now got a 6.6 seconds on him. That is such a shame. Those two were running absolute nose to tail for so long, and I thought that was going to be a race-long podium battle between those two. Looks like it's not going to happen. So sandwiched between Freeman and Crazies is Ash, who hasn't done his stop yet in the 444 Beamer. So Faco's completed his stop. I'm sure that isn't where he is. So a bit further down the grid, Dragon on Speed is 12th. Mighty Road Racing is 13th, Rob is 14th. So in terms of battles, Keno and Reedy, they look like they're about to get into something. Do I go on to it or not? Let's go on to GT Jamie, who's under 2 tenths behind Bruges, and you can see, as Chris is saying, supporting Iceman Sean UK, is only just in front of them. Kagatacos is in the pit. Have you done another one? Oh, I think he's in the pits to serve that time penalty. He's going to T1. Bruges goes down towards the inside. Sean goes really, really defensive there, and GT Jamie's obviously thinking, come on boys, keep that fight up. He's harrying all over the back of them, looking for a gap. Who's going to make a mistake? So you've got 2 Bentleys scrapping in front. Iceman Sean definitely got himself a little bit of oversteer there. You saw the way the car jerked over, and Bruges thought he was going to make something of that. Didn't. But that caused him to back out, which has lost him a little bit of momentum, probably only some thousandths of a second momentum, but that's now brought GT Jamie and the Ferrari all over the back of him. So this is a really good scrap at the moment. I hope you're all enjoying it. If you are, please press like. Press it 50 times. I agree, Merv, yes. I think you're doing the right thing there. I think you're doing the right thing by giving Michael a little bit of support. Not that he really needs it, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, he doesn't really have any friends. He just sits there counting, polishing jewels in his crown all day, to be fair. So we're watching this pretty epic 3-way fight. Let's have a little look behind. No. Let's make it nearly a 4-way fight. Look at him. GT Jamie wants that spot, doesn't he? We know the Bentley, she's got some good legs on her, and Cascanova's coming for his pit stop. 1-1 and Elysium have both been in for theirs. So Smalley's just running out top. He's just got to enjoy this for as long as possible. And Supercar Ray is second. I'm not going to go on to him because he will crash and you're going to be very sad. But this is, again, some very, very good driving. You can't deny that. It's clean, it's consistent, everyone's on point, you're watching the lines, you're seeing the pace. Yeah, everyone's driving really, really close together. So if you're not part of FRL and you've stumbled across this and you're watching, this is what you can expect. We haven't seen one, touch wood, we haven't seen one issue yet in this race with a full lobby. Oh, go on, go, 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 go. Is this going to happen? Right, now he's going to try and switch back. Not yet. He wants them. Those two are so busy with each other. I actually wonder how much time GT Jamie potentially is losing sitting behind in this fight, because, well, we can see he's losing time because Lamaro is now all over the back of these 3. So let's stick on Lamaro and see what he can do. Down in 22nd at the moment. I say he's not going to be best pleased with that. Look at those Bentleys, man. They are nose to tail. Absolutely nose to tail, aren't they? See what it looks like from Bruges. So whilst you lot get to feast on these epic battles that are going on, Michael is closing in on Supercar Ray and Smalley, who both haven't pitted yet, so that shows Michael's pace. He's still got a 12, nearly 13 second gap back to traction. GTJ is still currently net 3rd, I would suggest, with Freeman net 4th. Ash hasn't pitted yet, who's in 7th, and then you've got Crazy. So Crazy's is probably, well, he's 2 places out of position realistically from qualifying in the start of the race. If you remember at the start, Crazy's had an awesome start, made up 2 spots and was running 2nd behind Michael before he had an issue. So yeah, maybe a little bit of damage limitation. We know he's consistent, he'll keep that pace up all day long, there's no question about that. So he'll probably be hopeful he could maybe pick something off if there's an issue in front as we go through the chicane. We know the Bentleys love a curb, don't we? So he's just showing his nose up the inside again. He's trying to fluster Iceman Sean UK, but I've got to give him credit where it's due. He's driving extremely well at the moment. Bruges goes for the inside line. Sean doesn't come across and cover that, so you're asking yourself for potentially a lunge there. He now comes across to the middle of the track. That's going to make Bruges think about it a bit more, but Bruges is committed. They're going to touch. Are they going to touch? They don't touch, but Bruges then spins out, which unfortunately was going to happen. He probably missed his braking by 5 metres there, but obviously you're going downhill, you've got the weight of the car. The Bentley's a heavy car, as we know, and that's obviously just pushed him straight through that apex and off the track, and he's probably trying to then scramble to get back on and keep as close to Sean as he can, and that's caused him to spin out, unfortunately. So that's one out of the way. So Iceman Sean's thinking, well, that's that over with. Next round, please. Let's play with the Ferrari, and I do think GT Jamie's quicker. So Iceman Sean's got it all to do again, and Lamaro, he's dropped back a little bit. He probably backed out to make sure that there was no contact with Bruges, and GT Jamie's gone for a little wander. So Iceman Sean UK, you are now officially the top defender. You are our top defender. You've kept those boys at bay. They've both spun out, trying too hard. I just couldn't get you there. One down, one to go. That's right. Yes, no, Lenny, this isn't the only camera that works on the PS5, but I can't change between the camera angles, mate. So if I press drive like I would normally do to access internal and external cameras, it won't let that happen on the PS5. They haven't fixed that bug yet, so I have to pick a camera and stick with it. I think being on board is good because we do get to see it from the driver's perspective. We get to hear the car on board and the externals of the other cars, and the action is generally then very close when we're on board. But it is a frustration, my friend. Yes, Kino has got that move done right, so I'm going to move away from that. So Kino has done Faco and got himself up to 13th. Smalley's still leading the race, and he's now coming in for his pit stop. Give him a hand. This guy's got COVID. Yeah, he must... I nearly said the wrong word, damn it. He must be really suffering. He did say he was suffering, and he's just been leading this race as he comes in for his pit stop. So that clears Michael. There you go. He goes back through into his rightful position of numero uno, and Superkart Ray is currently still in second place, but that's all good. Traction third, GTJ okay, fourth and fifth, third and fourth really. Freeman's now 9.1 seconds behind GTJ, so that hasn't come down, that's increased unfortunately. Ash is in 7th at the moment, so some of these guys that are running long, it's not a bad plan, because you know, if they're in clear air, which you can see by the timings they are, if they can just keep that consistency and pace up, then they might be putting themselves in a better position when they come out of the pits, because the other individuals that they might be fighting against, for instance Kino, Faco, Elysium, Want One, they're all within sort of 2.5 seconds of each other, so they're all going to be holding each other up. So it's not a bad move, it's not a bad strategy move that. Smalley, yeah, is in the pits at the moment. I should have mentioned earlier on, but I didn't. So we do now have an optimum track, so no excuses in terms of tyres and grip. So Faco, Kino's pulled a 1.4 second lead over Faco already, and he's now 2 seconds behind Reedy. Kino and Reedy, they do seem to be buddies. They do race together quite a lot in terms of where they are on the grid. Elysium's 8 tenths behind Faco. Let's have a look at that one. That's not 8 tenths, that's a lot closer, and in front we can see Kino. So don't look too far ahead, we don't want any issues there, but you can see Kino, well, it's still saying 2 seconds. That didn't look 2 seconds behind Reedy, to be honest with you, unless we're going to start lapping people. And then Iceman Sean UK is half a second behind Lamaro. So Lamaro did get that move done, and then Bruges is coming back at him. So round 2 for that. I'm sure those two I'm sure there'll be some comments about that, and some if it all ends well, be some patting on the back going on afterwards, no doubt. Yeah, good stuff guys, very very good stuff. 21 laps, we're on the 21st lap at the moment. Anything close there? Nothing close at the top. They're all still keeping their gaps the same. So I think this is the closest little quartet battle we've got at the moment, so I think we should stick on it. Kino is now only 6 tenths behind Smalley, who's 1.4 behind Reedy. So Kino's gap to Reedy is still 2 seconds, but obviously Smalley's recently come out of his pit stop, and you can see those two barreling on up towards the chicane. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That looks pretty interesting. Bruges and Iceman Sean, and the Bentley boys are now only separated, that's probably 1.5 tenths, if that. So these two are now going to recommence their battle, which was this close a few laps ago, and yeah, Sean certainly had to work for his money then. It looks like he's probably going to have to do it again now. So 6 still watching at the moment, thank you everyone, I do appreciate that. I know it's not easy to sit here for nigh on an hour and 50 minutes and listen to me talk about gaps and figures and stuff like that, but I do appreciate it when you are watching, which is why I ask for a like. But yeah, it's all for you guys, it's all for our racers, to make it feel more real life. So Kino's under half a second behind Smalley. Really looks like he's pulled a little bit of a gap there. So the top end of the field has sorted itself out now in terms of pit stops and where people should be. So Michael is your race leader, 13.5 seconds back to traction. if they can finish like that, that's absolutely amazing, because you've got a 1-2 finish. Everyone would love to see that. I don't mean specifically those two, but it's not very often you get a 1-2 finish within sim racing. So that would be pretty cool. Be some good points for them, obviously, in terms of the team championship, and it will certainly increase Michael's lead over Freeman, who's currently in 4th. So GTJ is on the podium, 5 seconds behind Traction. Then we've got nearly 12 seconds back to Freeman. Crazies has had a lap put on him, which, that's crazy. Just think. Oh, hold on. Mr. Williams. So number 41, James Williams, FRL is in. That is a long name. I mean, that must have taken a while, dude. But yeah. Good evening. I hope you are well, sir. You've missed a pretty epic race so far. We've had an awesome qualifying session. Michael on Traction locked out the front row. Crazy's had a brilliant start, got himself up into 2nd, had an issue, pitted early, and then everyone else has been, we've had some very, very close racing so far. Well, let's move on. We are looking at Bruges, and Iceman Sean UK have been battling like this for a number of laps, but Faco looks like he's got that move done, but Elysium's come back round the outside as we go into turn 2. Just got to hold it round the outside. That looks a little bit too wide, which it is, so he's definitely lost a bit of time there. Keno is just in front of these two, who's still trying to track down Smalley, but isn't having a lot of luck on that front, so I think he just needs to keep that consistent. So no change in the top 5. Again, Dragon on speed, the best race I've seen him have. Seriously, he's still running in 6th place after the pit stop, so he's got that Porsche dialed in absolutely beautifully. Ash is coming in for his pit stop at the moment, which is why Rob's now moved up into 7th place. Mighty Road Rage in 8th, he just seemed to like that number 8, and Reedy is in 9th, so Smalley 10th, Keno is in 11th place. One second, everybody. Who's distracting me on Discord? Nothing massively important on there. Right, so we're still on board with Elysium. So Elysium, he was running 9th before the pit stops happened, and then if you remember we saying about some of these individuals that were running slightly longer to try and keep in clear air, well, I think you can see the benefit of that now, to be fair. And Keno's only under 4 tenths behind Smalley now, so Keno, he's going to want a top 10 finish. Pony's going to want him to get a top 10 finish because he can't be with us tonight, and Claire's going to want him to get a top 10 finish because she loves him. And that is the story for Keno. Did you see that? So you got Keno and Faco. No? Okay, fair enough. 1-1 Ferrari, he's in 15th at the moment. SJ Disco, you know what? He's not having a bad run at all. I know he was doing a bit of a joke earlier on about falling on his face as Faco runs really, really deep in that McLaren there. Did the same on the last lap. I think Elysium, if you keep that tight there, you will get an opening. Yeah, you push that McLaren a little bit too hard, and she's going to bite you. So just keep putting that pressure on. You may see a reward from that. Not that I want either way. I'm impartial. I'm just saying how I feel that may transpire. Keno's under 2 tenths behind Smalley. Can't watch it. But we will go on to Reedy. So has Reedy's got that move done on Marty. Nice. So Reedy is quick in that Lexus. Again, he's been quick all season in that Lexus, and he has moved up the field nicely today. He has got some good pace value. Rob's doing a great job in 7th still. And Keno's now dropped off. It's 2.5 tenths. I say dropped off. I mean, it's 2.5 tenths. It's hardly anything, is it? But you know, it is in here at the moment. So Elysium is in 13th. Superkart Ray, let's have a look at him and Elysium's battle. Now, come on, Superkart Ray. I haven't been on board with you yet in this race because we all know what happens every time I do. But Faco, you and Elysium are having a nice little three-way at the moment. And your boys want a t-shirt. They do want a t-shirt. Further down the grid, just have a quick look. So Bruges has managed to put a move on Iceman Sean eventually, and he's pulled a 1.4, well, nearly 1.5 seconds on him, which, to be fair, that's fair enough. I think Iceman Sean's probably really enjoyed, and he's probably a little bit worn out by those battles that he's been having over the last 10 laps. Fearless Freak is still running in 20th, so well done you, buddy. GT Jamie is 21st. I think he's definitely out of position there. GT Jamie is pretty rapid as whoa. So Elysium's just put a move on Thaco, so he's been watching turn 1. We've watched in turn 1 for the last 2 laps on what's happened with that McLaren. So Elysium was just trying to position himself in the Merc in such a way that will take advantage of the mistake or the behaviour of that McLaren, which has been happening for the last couple of laps. He's done that absolutely perfectly, got his nose in front, and now that means Superkart Ray, he can start having a nibble at the back of Thaco as well. But they're that close. Oh, and Elysium, he's run deep there. Don't touch, boys. They don't. That was very close, and they do touch. Oh, okay, they do touch. I do believe there was room for both of them there. Oh, and Elysium's gone too deep on the brakes, which has put Superkart right off the back of him. And who was that? We had another Merc all over the place there. So what we've got, 24? Who's 24? Or was it 30? No, it was definitely 24. We'll have to see. We'll have to see who that was, but that was well, that was all a bit crazy, wasn't it, in those last 2 corners. So Superkart Ray is still pushing Elysium hard. I think Thaco will feel aggrieved at that. Those two have been having a very, very good battle over the last few laps. Very close, very, very clean. And yes, of course, incidents do happen. None of that will have been deliberate. But I do feel from the onboard then that they did have room. They did have room. So who was fully in control of their vehicle at that time? That's the question. So 1-1 is now driving with a little more purpose probably. Because he wants to catch up to the back of Smalley and Thaco. Good battle this one. So at the top your leaders are still the same. Michael's led from, well, literally the first turn of the wheel. So Michael's still first. Traction is in second place. Again, that's going to be a great haul for them if they can pull that off. GTJ's the final podium sitter at the moment, 3.8 seconds behind. So he has pulled that gap down. That was 5 seconds. So we will keep an eye on that delta, because if something can change, it may be that one. Now it's 3.2, so that's 3/10. Let's just keep an eye on that as we watch these two through the rest of this lap. And if that ducks underneath 3, then I'm thinking Traction's tyres aren't particularly happy with him. That would be my guesstimate if that happens. So Freeman is still in 4th, Crazy's 5th, Dragon on speed. Got to be way up there for my driver of the day at the moment to be in 6th place pretty much for the entire race. It's fantastic from him. Rob's 7th, Reedy is in 8th, 4.5 seconds behind. Keno's got himself back up to 9th place. That's a very good showing from you, my friend, after you ended up down the field earlier on. Elysium is 10th, so he'll be happy with the top 10 at the moment, but that's not safe because Superkart Ray, as we're watching, is right behind him, who wants to give his mates a t-shirt. Mighty Road Racing is 12th, Smalley's 13th. Put a bit of a big gap between those guys. 1-1's 2 seconds behind Smalley, and then we've got Thaco, who is 10,000. Probably not 10,000. Well, that's obviously not right, is it? So we'll come back off that and go back on with Superkart Ray as they go through Coca-Cola Curve. Look how close he is. So how has Superkart Ray been observing Elysium like Elysium clearly was observing Thaco earlier on? Yeah, in terms of where is that Merc weak, where is she strong? What can he do to unnerve? No, I haven't jinxed anything. Jinx isn't racing tonight, Chris. You love the merch, how can you get some? Wow, that's a very good point. I did mention earlier on at the top of the show, as Superkart Ray looks to put a move on, you've got to keep wide there. Oh, look how deep Elysium goes in there. Elysium, it does not want to give up that top 10 position. I think we can see that. His driving is, it's aggressive. There's nothing wrong with aggressive driving at all. I don't know if his tyres are happy or not, because I wouldn't say Elysium is normally the type of chap that overdrives. I don't think he is. I think he's normally a very considered certainly when I've watched him this season. He's a very considered driver, but he looks like he's fighting tonight, and Superkart Ray is giving as good as he gets. So you two boys, carry on doing what you're doing, please, whilst I just inform some of the viewers. Yeah, if you do want to get your hands on any merch, apparently you can go onto a website called formularacing.co.uk, and as well as all this amazing information that I talk to you about multiple times a week, we've got a shop on there where you can get t-shirts, mugs, personalised obviously, because my one says Coops Corner, and you can get whatever you want put on there. You can have your number done or whatever you want. Jackets, hoodies, the lot, so you can pick that up there, no problem at all. And for that plug, that's another 10%. I'm only joking. 20. So we don't have any change anywhere else at the moment, but I did say we were going to keep our eye on that delta. So it was 3.8, 3.5, 3.2. It's now 2.925. So GTJ is 2.5 tenths a lap eating into Traction Dave. So is Traction just looking after the tyres? Is he sort of managing the race at this stage? I'd still be a bit nervous if I was seeing that delta coming down, because GTJ, we know he's quick, and if you're Traction, you're definitely going to want to have that 1-2 finish. Freeman's in 4th, 20 seconds down the road, so he's not challenging, and then Crazy's another 10 seconds behind, so I'm sure he is resigned at the moment to that 5th place and just thinking about the points and that championship. Dragon on speed is 6th, 15 seconds back. Rob 2K, he could still spoil Dragon's party. He's 2.5 seconds behind in 7th. And then we've got Reedy 8th, Kino's in 9th. Impressed with that. Elysium, as we've seen, has been fighting for 10th. Now pulled himself quite a bit of a gap, just over a second from Superkart Ray. Mighty Road Racing nearly 3 seconds behind, so that challenge isn't going to happen anytime soon. Smalley's 13th, 1 is currently 14th, 1.5 behind. Then we've got Faco, SJ Disco. So the teammates there, well, are they going to have their own little dance? You know, that's their team name, the Dancing Queens or whatever they're called. Limaro 17th, I'm sure he would want to be higher up the field than that, but he's 4.5 seconds behind, so don't see that happening. Rouge looks like he's about to challenge him. So let's switch from Limaro defending to his teammate, from Elysium defending. Let's switch to his teammate Limaro and let's see how he defends. And we know again, Bruges, we know as a racer, Bruges will take a gap if he sees one. Iceman Sean UK, who was in that epic battle with him, as we're about to put a lap on someone. Who is that? It is a McLaren. So that's got to be Faco, I believe. Oh well, it's Faco and SJ Disco both next to each other, so wow, those two just muscled their way past, didn't they? So Lamaro's got to be really careful here, because Bruges is in the box seat. Bruges is ready to take advantage of any mistake that he makes. So again, Bruges is the one who makes the mistake. And see, that's sometimes a problem when you're that close to somebody. You know, can you see those braking points, those turning points properly? You know, how much of your eye is being drawn away from those by looking at the vehicle in front, and then your mind's naturally going to start second guessing, well, where's he going to do this, or where's he going to do that? And it's that split nanosecond where mistakes are made, as we've just seen, and another one there. So I actually just got out of the way. It's probably Michael just going through. Is it? It is indeed. How are you, Michael? You having a great race? Says me. Superkart Ray is now only half a second again behind. So I think this is a great story so far in this race. These two, the battle for the top 10 in a grid like this, finishing in the top 10 is a huge achievement. And I know Superkart Ray's been dying to get into the top 10 all season and has just had some bad luck. Is this the race that he can do something about that? But then Elysium, he's thinking no chance, I want another top 10 finish. So got to keep our eye on that. Lamaro is now just under 7 tenths down from SJ Disco. I expect that move to happen fairly soon. Faco, I think he's absolutely done his tyres in, because he's falling down the grid now. Fearless Freak's got himself up. Oh, and then, but see, that's what I was saying before. Look, they've both followed each other off at Coca-Cola Curve, going through the chicane. They're both too busy watching each other and thinking about what each other's going to do, rather than what they should be doing, yeah, and adjusting for that, because realistically, Superkart Ray, that was your spot. Now they're both coming into T1. They're both going to have dirty tyres. They've got to be a little bit wary of that. It's a good turning, get on the power. Okay, so he's got a good run out of there, but obviously Elysium, he's going to go defensive as he does, just hugs that inside line. So he's going to look to move across now. He's going to trail into there. He's going to hook up on that curb on the left-hand side, and then just slowly squeeze that throttle on, drop it into second with the turn-in, apex, get straight on the power. So you can see the Merc's pretty strong through there, and Michael's on the final lap. So we'll keep an eye on this before we switch to Michael. Let's see if Superkart Ray feels like Dunlop could be a good place for a dive bomb. No, Chris, that was I am a Geordie. No dive bomb. Good. I didn't want to see a dive bomb. GTJ's are under a second. We've got to have a look at that. Look, you can see traction's in front of him. How weird, dear. There's Michael's easily moving around the track now. That McLaren needs to get out of the way quickly, and he does get out of the way. That was good, because that probably would have caused an issue with him being under a second behind. Is he going to eat up a second in the space of this lap? I can't see it happening, to be honest with you. I can't see that happening. So Michael's coming through Dunlop. We'll stay on board with Michael. We'll just keep an eye on that Delta as we come up to the Schumacher S's. What a fabulous race Michael has driven. No, I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. Michael's driving very consistently is what I will say. And quick look down the Delta. Superkart Ray still 11th. Okay, Kino's in there. Superkart Ray's only a 10th behind. Oh, you people. Oh, he's got the move done. He's got the move done. So I do believe that Elysium probably ran deep into Coca-Cola curve then. So he's going to be happy with that. Elysium's going to be kicking himself. No doubt about that at all. As we come up to the chicane for the last time. Just keep us steady. There you go. Nice and steady. Last corner. No mistakes. Trailer in. And there we go. We've only got the start finish line. So congratulations, Michael Races is your winner of round 5 season 4 Taco Tuesdays at the Nurburgring. That was a commanding drive from Michael, no doubt about that. Traction comes home. Don't hit the wall yet. Traction, well done. Yeah, you flash your lights, buddy. You bring it home. That is a 1-2 for that Ferrari team, and some excellent points for those two. They're going to be pretty happy tonight. GTJ, great race from you. Managed to finish in 3rd place. So there's your podium, Michael, Traction and GTJ. Freeman's going to bring it home in 4th place. Probably be a little bit disappointed with that, especially after the pit stops. But still, 4th place is not bad, and that's some good points for you. Crazies is coming around the final bend now. He's going to finish 5th. Solid points for him. Dragon on speed. Fantastic race. Get through this bit. Fantastic race from you, my friend. Consistency throughout that entire hour to be 6th place. You should be very, very proud of yourself with that. Rob 2K is coming around the last corner now. He's in 7th. Again, hasn't put a foot wrong the entire evening. Majorly consistent. So great run from you, Rob. Reedy has a strong position to come through the field to be 8th. And Kino, do you know what, buddy? Well done. What a great race from you. You were in the top 8, qualified in the top 8. He was in some good fights, ended up further down the grid, 14th, 15th, and fought your way back through. Smart move on the pit stop, which I did call, thank you, and that seemed to work very well for you. Superkart Ray finished 10th, guys, look at that. 10th for Superkart Ray. T-shirt orders in, Superkart Ray fan club. Don't let him not do that. That's what we've been waiting for all season. Elysium finishes 11th. He's probably going to be a bit gutted about that, but hey, that is racing. Some great battles in there, mate. And 11th is still a good point. So Almighty Road Racing is 12th. Smalley finished 13th, considering he's racing with COVID. Well done to you. 1-1 Ferrari 14th. SJ Disco crosses the line in 15th place, which is probably a lot better than he thought he was going to get, considering where he was earlier on. Lamaro finished 16th, so some good points. Beautiful Ferrari in front of him, by the way, the 101. That's mine. Bruce 17th, Ash 18th, Fearless 19th, Iceman Sean 20th. Obviously people are leaving the server. And then we've got Faco, GT Jamie, Hutch, Kagatacos, Andy, King of the Hills obviously was having a more of a bedding in race with those new pedals, and Tarek obviously sat most of that one out. So guys and girls, what an amazing race. Congratulations to Michael, congratulations to Traction, and to GTJ. That was another breathless hour over here at FRL. Everyone that's watched, thank you. Everyone that has commented and got involved, thank you very much. If you've liked, perfect. If you haven't liked, please do. We've been sat here for 2 hours. Sub if you wish, if you want to see more content from what we're doing here at FRL and what I'm doing, and buy me a coffee. So I should be back tomorrow evening. Yes, indeed, I am going to do the podcast tomorrow with Del and Chris. So we'll see you guys at 10 o'clock, and then back on Sunday. I am available this week for the GT3 Sunday. So thank you very, very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Comms by Coops, out.